Hello friends, this is Worm, and today I wanted to start another mini-series, and this one's a true mini-series. These videos are going to be a little bit shorter, but basically there are a lot of perks in Destiny 2 that people just don't use and don't care about. And today I want to start a series where we're going to talk about these perks and how we can make them better. Now, one important distinction I should make before we go any further is that there are perks that are designed for PvE and there are perks that are designed for PvP. PvP perks we're going to leave out of the mix for now. We're just going to talk about perks that are, helping us inside of PvE. So things like dynamic sway reduction, tap the trigger, stuff like that, we're not going to talk about. But with that being said, as you can see on screen here, I got our first perk that we're going to talk about here today, and that is adaptive munition. So adaptive munition states this weapon adapts its damage output and effectiveness against energy shields that don't match the weapon's damage type. More specific data is hits against a non-matching element shield. Keep in mind, non-matching, okay? Or a barrier champion shield deals increasingly higher damage. The buff is removed upon hitting a matching shield or an unshielded enemy, and the damage increase per weapon archetype for fusion rifles 29 per hit, up to 435% total damage against shields only. Same thing for all the stuff we're about to talk about here. But machine guns, auto rifles, pulse rifles, tracer rifles is 33%, up to 500. Linear fusion rifles 150%, up to 450%, and bows, glaives, hand cannons, scout rifles is 167% per hit, up to 500% additional damage against shields only. This is a super niche and really pointless perk at this point because they removed match game several seasons ago, and match game was really the only content where I would say this perk was ever decent. I remember I had an Ogma, I believe was the name of the pulse rifle, that had this perk on it, and I would take it into Grandmasters because it allowed me to easily break a variety of shields when match game was the modifier, because it was very difficult to break enemy shields when you didn't have the proper matching damage type. But since they have removed match game from the game, breaking shields is not really much of a problem. So let's talk about what we can actually do to change adaptive munitions to be more respectable or more viable inside of PvE currently. And guys, I think it's really easy. Give adaptive munitions the ability to adapt to actual elemental shield types, okay? For example, if I'm using a pulse rifle and I'm shooting a void shield, it switches its damage type to void. And it stays void until I start damaging like a solar shield. Then it changes to solar. And then I start shooting a strand shield. Then it changes to strand. And I think that this would be a really easy way to fix this. But looking deeper into it, it would be one of the very few ways that we could have, weapons outside of their proper slot, I guess. Like if I had a void pulse rifle, its base lights, its base damage type is void, it could potentially become a strand, a strand pulse rifle in the energy slot. That would be pretty cool. Would it be broken? I wouldn't really say so, because again, you have to have a shield, and you could make it where the buff goes away after you bestow the weapon, or you can make it so that just give it, it of course would go away when you die or something like that, but give it something so that you can't just infinitely have like a energy pulse rifle. But also, like, you're trading off, when you have adaptive munitions, you're trading off typically like other great perks. On a pulse rifle, for example, we just made a reference to a pulse rifle, you're trading off the potential to get maybe like rapid hits in that first column, or maybe something like kill clip or incandescent or something in that fourth column. You're giving up something to have this adaptive munition trait, so it needs to be able to fulfill that role. Then you could also pair it with various subclass, verbs and stuff like that, so that you could have volatile rounds. If you're doing let's say you're doing a strike and there's arc and solar. Right, there's arc and solar shields, but there's also barrier champions. You could use a void subclass. You could throw a grenade, get a kill, then you have volatile rounds, that you could get on your pulse, or on your void pulse rifle. That's now void because you're damaging a void shield. I think I said arc and solar. I meant to say arc and void shield. Sorry, but let's say there's arc and void shields, and you want to use your pulse rifle. Now you can get volatile rounds on your pulse rifle to break that barrier champion's shield, or auto rifle, whatever you want to call it, because I know that pulse rifles are in the that thing where you can get all the cool mods. I forget it. The artifact. There you go. That's they have artifact mods. But yeah, I think that's really the only change that adaptive munition needs. Again, it wouldn't make it like a meta option, so to speak. It wouldn't make it some crazy, insane damage perk. Like it wouldn't really outclass things like hard light or what is it, Borealis, or the dead messenger. I was gonna say the grenade launch you get from Vox Obscura, but yeah, I think that would be a decent change to it. But I want to hear your thoughts on it. Like, do you think that adaptive munitions could use some changes? Tell me what you would personally change about it, and so on and so forth. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Do me a favor, like the video, helps the channel a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content, conversations, and mini-series like this one. And do me another favor, watch the videos you see on the end screen here, because for whatever reason YouTube thinks you'll like them. I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.